Hey everybody, it's Mar the JavaScript Party. My buddy Rhett. We just got done with that freaking oh, it's happy 4th of July, everybody. We are 250 years old today. Today. Today we ran them Brits out of our 13 colonies. Yeah, and they gave us the wheel of, the steering wheel, and we've been driving ever since. It's been a wreck, but it's been good, and it's really nice living here in the United States of America. Um, yeah, it's cool, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm lucky, very very lucky, and I feel very very honored to be an American citizen. I'm very fortunate, and I feel very responsible. Like I feel like I can't just like not at all have civic duty, but at the same time, I need to realize that hey, I'm just one dude who sits in a office most of the time who spends most of his time thinking about coding. So like my opinion is worth something, but not more, not that much, not really. But it is worth something, and it's important that I you know, share it and all that. So, anyways, that is it. I'm glad to be in the United States. If you're in another country and you're getting all kinds of like negative American stuff about like how scary and dangerous and everything is here, it's probably a bit overstated. There are definitely scary, dangerous places here in the States. I would definitely not tell you that I've never been scared or in danger. I've definitely been scared and in danger. I've definitely had some close calls with crime, like especially back when I was younger and I used to deliver pizzas. I would quite often brush against dark forces, but now I'm fairly insulated. Anyways, so I just spent a long time. Me and
Good
Rhett
morning.
spent a long time trying to do an upgrade for this space and time project, and it was rough. And it wasn't the actual upgrade wasn't too bad. I do have Angular material and Angular in there, but what was bad was that, and I knew this was going to happen, but the way I did this one is I have space and trim, and then I have my dot Angular, and I have my Cypress in here. But if you look at the way I did, and let's go ahead and just shut everything, make sure everything's shut down, Control C, and we're going to switch over to the Say Hello project, um, which, yeah, well, let me I'm very excited about because okay, so just keep in mind we have space and time dot angular, and then Cypress is in here. So this TS config is like kind of inherits down to Cypress, um and then we have like uh TypeScript 6, but my Cypress wants to use 5, and so it's throwing errors. But if you go look in what we're working into right now, which is our Saturday Say Hello project. So if we go over here, and we look at the same thing, let's go ahead and close others. And then, so we look in this one and we look at this, you see how we have Cypress up here, and then we have Say Hello UI here. And now in here is my dot Angular. See, so Cypress has its own package file, and in this package file of its, we have TypeScript 5.5. But in our Say Hello UI, and I believe it's going to be 6 point something, 6.03. And so that's important to keep in mind is that 6.0 they can have their own TypeScripts with this architecture, but with the other architecture they can't. They have to share the same version of TypeScript, and the reason is because see how this Cypress has its own node modules, and this Angular has its own node modules. And then I believe the top project, oh, it doesn't. It should. I don't know why it doesn't have its own node modules. Create UI. Yeah, I don't know exactly why, but it should. I would have thought that it would have its own node modules as well. It shouldn't. Probably it would, except I probably deleted it or something. But anyway, so that's that. Now I'm very excited about this because I actually got a new phone. It's a Motorola A something, and it's really nice. I like it. I will say that I did not install any apps on it, like nothing, nothing. So it has like the communications to do texting. It's got phone, and that's about it, right? And it may have other stuff on, but I've never started it, um, and all that. So I'm sure it has a browser. Oh no, it does have a browser. So I try to use my say hello, my voice. Here, let's go ahead and just start this npm. I don't even know what we're doing right now. Make rows. Okay, yeah. So npm cd and then say hello UI and npm start. So I use this website that I built every day for work. And what it does for me for work, I basically built this to be like a prototype scene so I could try things to see if they work and then see what kind of logs I get back. And I could also, this was basically designed to watch the API. So this API has this phrases thing. I just got tired of doing upgrades when phrases came out right at the end, and I was like, "Oh, no, I'm done. I want to be done with this project." But at work, I use this every day. I usually do this. I go like this, "Hello world," and it was like, oh, "Okay, cool." And then I could see what I get. I could go down and see the logs, see if everything's working. So the idea was, okay, so for the prototyping perspective, I wanted to say like hello, right? Like hi there or something like that. So hi there, right? And so it's got like a two, it thinks I might have said hi there or hi THEIR. So I mean hi there is like hey, hi over there. Hi THEIR is like hi their stuff, right? There I believe this is the possessive of they are. We have three theirs. We have there like this, which is a location, there, which is a possession, like it is their clothes, it is their house, and then there's there, the THEYRE, which it concatenates t they and are, like they are going to town. So, anyways, I use this every day. It's funny because at work when I click it, it may not work two or three times, but I keep doing it and restarting and doing it, and then it'll work, and then Teams works. But if otherwise, Teams might or might not work, and I won't know it until it works here. If it works here, it'll work on Teams. If it works on Teams, it'll work here. But sometimes something gets a little weird, and it doesn't work quite right. But anyway, so the idea was that we would have this say hello thing, and we'd be able to check that. And we have it actually working. Like it is actually feature complete. So like I think I could do this like howdy partner. Howdy partner. And as you see, we have a match. Hey, we have a match. So you see we can check to make sure that we have a match, and this is English US. Alternatively, we could put another language in, and then we could put in a word like what ES, which is for Spanish, and then MX. Yeah, ESMX. And so this is going to be Spanish Mexican, right? But see, it still uses the same one. So this is something that we need to work on. I mean, and then that is hello in Spanish, Mexican Spanish. So then we can go hola, hola. Every once in a while that happens. Hola. Yeah, so It returned a capital HOLA. Every once in a while, like it'll like just swallow it on the other end. Especially if you like say gibberish, it'll just swallow it and never return anything. Like if you go like this, like it just doesn't come back. And that is the same here, right? Like if we go, right, nothing. So, and over here, I do have a couple of other choices. Like we have Japanese Japan, and I believe it's Konnichiwa is how you say it. Um, so Konnichiwa, and see, it's JAJP, so we can do that. JA for Japanese, and JP. And honestly, this is the first time I realized that I can actually use it this way. Like I can just copy this. So I don't have a keyboard that can even type that, but I can copy and paste it. And then Konnichiwa. Maybe not. Should I do something wrong? Oh, that's weird. Oh, it says E. Oh, maybe I didn't hit enter. That's funny. I don't think I ever hit enter. I'm going to copy this. I don't think I need to copy it. And then hit enter. Okay, JAJP. There we go. Konnichiwa. And see, we have a match. And that's the whole idea. So I was going to go ahead and find all these different versions of hello in different languages and then make links to it and all that. So we've proven that it works and all that. But what really made me excited was that in here I can do it now. And that was not the case yesterday. Um, and so I'm just going to go to I like email, voice. And so there we go. And then I'll just go to discrete and I'll just go like this. Hi. For some reason, hi there. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know if you can see it, but it actually did find hi there. So that was not working a couple weeks ago. It kind of makes me feel very powerful because like it wasn't working and now it is working. And I'm pretty sure it's because of me. Now, I don't think anyone's watching my videos. I don't think that's what happened. What I suspect happened was I tried it on this tool. And what happens with this tool, I think I actually explained it pretty well with it here. So it uses your browser's speech analyzer, and it turns on your microphone, and then I don't even know if it turns on your microphone. I suspect your microphone is always on. It's like probably always on and always like listening. But it will mark it will indicate in the browser that it's currently listening. That does not mean that it's not listening other times, but at least on that point. But then it depending on what browser you're using, it may send the information to Microsoft if you're using Edge, or it will send the information to Google if you're using Chrome. And I don't think it works at all with any of the other browsers. It'll kind of generate everything, but they won't like I don't know, you have to set up your own cloud service or something. I don't know. But anyway, so what happens is now you have your it sends it to the cloud service, and then the service processes it and returns the information back. And that's how that works. And my guess is that when I tried it with my phone, some log somewhere caught that there was an error, that an error happened. And something is looking at those logs and said, "Oh crap, we're not supporting it on the phone, or the phone is broken now." But now it is working. And so I want to build my wife like a little application that will let her like store certain things and then certain phrases because she talks to like a couple dozen people every single day via her phone, and usually it's either in Facebook, in TikTok, in text. Those are or email, and they're all on her phone. And so she's like typing stuff all the time. But like a lot of the stuff that she's typing, especially early on, like let's say she talks to 100 people, like 90 of them are just kind of like, "Hey, do you do this? Do you do that?" And that's it, right? And so like it's like canned responses. She could have canned responses, but then like as they go deeper and deeper, like most of the time, probably 95% of her communications are the same, maybe 40 phrases. So if I could find a way for her to copy all those phrases, a way that she could have all those phrases in a easily searchable and scoreable kind of system where she can just hit a button and it puts it into the um, what do you call that? The cat, not the cache, the whatever this is when you hit Control C, the clipboard, then she could put it in a clipboard and go paste. It's just like I think it's a lot. That would be a lot faster finding what you want and copying and pasting than trying to type it. Maybe not, but but it wasn't working at all on the phone. So now it does. So that's cool. All right. So now we're working on this. It looks like we want to make rows iterate over the data structure for each entry. That's number 11. And then, so basically what we want to do, I think what I'm saying here, pretty sure what I'm saying is that right now, if we look in our source, and we look in our app, and we look in our components, and results execution, I don't think it's any of these. I think it's in this app.ts. Oop. Okay, so there's our execution panel. So I'm guessing that is this thing right here. So results panel, HTML. Yeah, so this really should be driven from a data structure. Ideally, in the end, what I want it is to go to some API and ask it for whatever the entries are for these things. I kind of wanted to try to do it in the assets, but I've changed my mind because I don't want to lose stuff because I do a build. So I probably want to have a completely another API that's probably going to be PHP that literally just serves up JSON files that have this data. Maybe even create like a little way to, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do, but I'll, at the very least, I'll FTP JSON files and I'll create like a JA folder and a JP folder. And then if there's something in there, if the folders exist and there's something in there, I'll serve it. If they don't exist, I won't. And if it doesn't have anything, it's just going to have this so that you can put that. Otherwise, it'll have a list of different things. And actually, I do want to add another column, and that is going to be the um, like a description of what that word is. So like hello is probably the standard way to greet somebody. Hi is sort of a friendly or slightly more casual, informal way. Hey is a very informal way that really more is like trying to get someone's attention. Like, hey, and you're trying to get them to, but it is still a greeting. It's like, hey, how are you? If they say hey, they typically mean I need to talk to you. But hi is just like, oh my, oh you're here, hi. Or when you walk in, you want to say hi to everybody. That's like a way to do that. Like you walk in a room, and let's say a meeting is starting at 10 and it's 9:59, 9:55, and you walk in the room. There's already a few people in there. You probably just say hi, and then let's say you're doing the presentation and you're opening with a greeting, you probably say hello, everybody. Hello. Um, but hello. Hello is something you might say if you're a bit inquisitive about like why they're there. You know, like hello, may I help you? You'll often hear may I help you. If they say sir, may I help you? They're probably mad at you. In the US, we have like two kinds of sir. We have sir that is like an actual like respect, and then we have sir that is like you're in trouble. Like we call the sir that like you're in trouble is the airport sir. If you're walking along in the airport and someone says sir to you, you are likely in trouble. So anyway, so we want to drive this row, each one of these rows out of a list instead of this. And at this point, it's a good question. Like, do we want to actually switch over to like Angular material table, or do we want to keep going this way? I think I want to do it this way because probably like the last five I've done have been Angular material table, and I kind of want to experience the other side again. Um, so anyways, we know that we have a status. And so, well, actually, I guess what we want, so these are results. And I guess these are like entries, options, list, language, word options. So let's go ahead and create an interface. That'll be the first step. So that is the wrong package. We want this package. I don't even know if that's a downside or an upside. Like having to actually get these things right and be in the right place is sort of mentally good because it kind of forces like structure in your brain, but it also is mentally bad in that like, cognitive load. But you can see that I created enums. And I have an enums folder. All right. So I guess we should have an interfaces folder. So I don't know what I should do. If I should call it interfaces. See how I call that? Oh, enums and then voice recognition enums. Okay, I'll just call them voice recognition interfaces. Let's see, VS. Why did I call it SH? SH. Oh, voice service enums. Voice interfaces. God, and then all right, interfaces. Interfaces, faces. I don't know why is it's like I find it to be very enjoyable to make interfaces. I don't know why. Something about making interfaces that feels really good. SH voice interfaces. All right, so I expect there to be a new folder sort of just up here, EFGHI. So between the E and the services. So let's see. And then inside of it, a voice recognition interfaces folder file. I don't foresee very many interfaces. Uh-oh. NPM run. Oh, wrong one. Got to get in there farther. CD say hello UI. We're hoping that it shows up right in here when it gets done. And I think I want two things. I want the status, the word. Okay, I think it should be named word options. word options. I don't know that there's a lot of really solid naming conventions and stuff. I feel like that's how it's supposed to be, capital word options, and this is going to, I guess we always, do we want an ID? I don't know. I always regret not having an ID. Status. Yeah, I guess there is no real value to an ID in this situation, I don't think. Well, so you always end up having to index things though. Like when we, okay, yeah, so when we do the for loop, we're going to need to index, we'll probably need something to index by, something that we're like, this is guaranteed to be unique. And yeah, so we're going to need an ID. Word option ID, which is going to be a number. I like using semicolons. You can use commas or semicolons. So we're going to say match status, which is, we actually do have those in the enumeration, right? Yeah, voice status. So the statuses are a voice, it's one of these voice enums. So I think we can just say this. And then I think we can just import it like that. So it can either be, it can only be either off, waiting, or on. Those are the only legal statuses. And then the word itself, which is a string, and then a description, which is a string. And I think I don't, like, it can be an empty string, it just needs to, it needs to exist. I could make it like optional, but I think it needs to exist. I think it'll just be easier to maintain if it exists at least. Okay, so now we want to create a list of word options. So I'm hoping I'm not skipping things. Like I can kind of see how I would be skipping things, but so we're going to say word options, and it has to be of type word options, and we're going to set that to a blank at the moment, an empty array. It's a string. I mean, an array of word options. So this is our list of options. Now we could just do it there, and I think it is reasonable to just do it in there, but I feel like it's easier to read if we do it in a constructor. So we could just say word options dot add push, and we got a ID of 1, which, like we can just do push like this, and then we could say I word option ID, and this is equal to word options dot length. I don't know. We're probably not going to want to stick with something like this, but and then I think it's just probably complaining that we're missing things. It's missing the following properties, though: status, match status. What is our current match status? Is it a match status? I don't know. And then by default, I can't even remember what the choices were now. Let's go to our enums. Waiting. I think, no, not waiting, off. So this is voice state enum off. And that's nice because if we ever change sort of like the options, that will be, okay, so the word is hello. and then description. This is a general greeting, uh, a generally formal greeting. That is very common to use. Throughout the USA. Because this is for the USA. So that is like English is everywhere, but this is the US version, right? Like when we go back, it was E and US. So there's also like English for the British. And so if we added that, it would have its own folder. It wouldn't use the same ones. And hello may not be the generally formal one that they use. And I don't know what they generally use. Um, and I think that's it. That's a whole option. Now, a lot of times, and it might make a lot of sense, is to have like a function that adds these things. And we probably would end up using a function. We will end up using a function when we get that. So let's just go ahead and say add word. And then I guess what we would do is we would pass in, and we're going to return a void because we're not doing any unit tests. If we were doing unit tests, I would definitely return something. And then we're going to get a ID. No, we're not going to get the ID. Am I going to store IDs in the JSON? I guess I will. I'll be storing the IDs in the JSON, so I guess that makes sense. ID, which is a number, and then match status, which is the voice state enum, and then we have a word, which is a string, and we have a description, which is a string. And then over here, what we're going to do, we're going to do basically the exact same thing. We're just going to say and then, so that just pushes it, but we can, if these are the same name, then we can just use them. So and I don't really like this. I really don't. I think every time I do it, I always call this out that I don't like this. I just do it because I want to be comfortable with the way it looks. A lot of times things are like only uncomfortable because you don't see them that way very often. But so I don't like that. I don't like the fact I prefer actually explicitly stating what we have, but I don't think that um, but this is such a common thing that you see throughout code that I don't even like. I mean, that I just do it because I want to understand, because I don't want to be like sort of descript. What is wrong? That's the right one, right? Oh, capital S. Man, I do some weird stuff. That was weird. Okay, so we'll go there. Yeah, right. Yeah. Right gets bored with this, but that's good because then when she goes back to her regular cage, then she's all stimulated over there again. Right, so this word push, and the only reason I did this, like I felt like I think this is better, but I wouldn't have done it except that I'm pretty sure that eventually what's going to happen is in this constructor, I'm going to be calling for the list, and then that list will be um, coming from a server, and then I'll get that list, and then I'll call this add word thing. But for now, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to say this dot add word, and then I'm going to say basically the very first one will be 0, and then 2. It's just gonna be whatever the length of the um, the array is. And it's kind of funny because that was used to be the only way to get to to uh, create like a index, like you used to have to always like to get the value, the next available value, to set up an index. You'd get the length, and then you might even add one to it so you could have that. And but that was before, because basically what you used to do is you used to say the array is equal to array dot array parenthesis and array length minus one close parentheses equals in the value, and that's how you added something before we added push. But now I'm starting to see people use this length, the array length, all the time to do stuff again, and that didn't used to be the case. Hello, and then and I feel like this is so typical where like now I have this description, I don't even show the description, so then it's going to be like, oh, we should add the description to there, and then that'll be like that's how it works. You like discover things, you come up with ideas as you're coding, but like a lot of places like they try to lock down idea thinking while you're in the process, because it's gold plating is really what it is. All right, so now we have this set of words, and then see, I feel like hi is a generally informal greeting that is very common to use throughout the US. And then hey is a informal, a generally informal greeting that is commonly used when you're trying to get someone's attention. And like those little subtleties don't really matter that much, not really. But I guess I should at least add two of them, probably three. Put a semicolon there. All right. And I think almost all websites. I mean, what was I gonna say? I don't know, but particularly, see, we don't get help on this one, spelling help. Particularly when you want to get someone's attention. All right, so we have three of them. Everything seems to be fine. It's building, building. Okay, so now instead of that, we would like to get a row in our execution panel. Okay, so is it results? So this is this little table, and then this is our results panel. So our results panel needs this set of things. And the most natural way to do that is to pass this in as an input, but I would much rather use my service. I'm probably already, I don't know what's in my service. Okay, so we have a routing service and a voice service. Okay, I should probably call it a data service. All right. So we need to create a data service and then basically do all this in the data service and then make it a signal that goes out, which will make it so easy to it'll make it so much easier just to like replace that with getting an actual JSON payload from somewhere. Like when that upgrade is just going to be so much easier. I probably don't even remember today when I did that, but so I'm going to go back to this README. And so, okay, so in order, before we can do that, so let's change this to 11, and then this should be 12, and I don't no idea why that one's red up there, and this should be 13 now. And then I guess it's going to be, no, yeah. No, I guess it shouldn't even have one of these. Okay. Create a service that publishes a list of rows, a list of words. The table will use to print. All right. Let's say go to 11. Do not collect $200. So that's kind of a joke. But in Monopoly, like sometimes you have to go back, but sometimes you get to go forward and all the way around. And every time you go all the way around, you get to collect $200. But if they make you go backwards, you don't get to collect $200. So that's kind of a quick way of saying, don't keep going from here. We need to go back to 11. And I think that's pretty good progress for now. So basically, the idea is we're going to create make a probably be easier for me to figure it out now too, since sometimes like you don't want to hamstring yourself in the future, but sometimes you understand now better than you would understand in the future. So, but SH data service is going to go right here, right before this SH routing service, and when that happens, my every time I get a text now on my new phone, it sounds like the doorbell, and it always triggers the dogs. Um, but yeah, sometimes it's easier just to like not hamstring your future self by not telling your future self what to do, and sometimes it's just so much easier just to tell your future self, like right now, I understand this should be SH data service. It probably won't be so obvious next time. But so basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a new service that goes in there and we'll go into our package. We'll create SH data service and that'll be, there's another, it's got to be another service in here somewhere. Yeah, this services SH data. And that will eventually be redone to go online based on the route. Whenever the route changes, it'll go online somewhere and get the data service. And I don't think you have to worry about, for JSON gets, I don't think you have to worry about at all. I don't think you have to concern yourself with that error that you get, cross origin error. Let's look real quick though. ChatGPT. I know with pick photos you don't, but I don't know. Uh, retrieve JSON data from a server is cross-reference JavaScript errors and issue. I can't remember. is about where the data meets your runtime assumption. God, I don't understand why they over. Okay. I meant that cross reference error that shows in the console. Uh, no, cross-reference errors are not a JSON. They're just almost always coming from the browser's Java or okay. Uh, I um, if I am running code from www.acme.com, I am trying to retrieve code from www.weather.com. Read JSON. That HTTP cross domain error. CORS, yes, CORS, cross origin research. What happens in your scenario? Okay, yeah. So yes, okay. I don't know why I don't know what the heck it was talking about over here. Um, but it was probably yeah. The browser will block it by default. Okay. Okay, so basically what I'm going to end up needing to do is eventually yeah, I'd probably have to set up like a little PHP program that just literally looks like has like it's probably gonna get like low cra oh wait oh yeah I like email.com slash hello API slash get question mark en and us. And then it will look to see in its directory structure if it sees an en folder, and if it does, it'll look to see if there's a US folder in there, and if it does, it'll look to see if there's a file there, and if there is a JSON file, it'll serve it. I think that's what it's just a very simple front end, but it looks like I will also have to do something. Okay, um, okay, so if I want to be able to get data from one of the servers from a remote server, remote API that I built in PHP, what do, and I think it matters on DreamHost, what do I need to do to get that to work? You mainly need to solve the core server configuration. I don't understand why they get so wordy. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so, and then yeah, I need to add this into the header. Okay, so okay, I just want to just be doing a get call. Something like www.ilikeemail.com /words API /get question get.php dash region, or what are these things called? Locale, language and region. Language equals, I think it's like that, and then en for English and region equals US. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna want to do. And so I'll do like it's gonna be an Angular, so I won't be doing fetch, but it'll be Angular will do this. Okay, so in PHP I'll have to do this at the top. See, I think I just want to allow everybody. What do I care? Why do I care if somebody is getting these JSON files? I mean, maybe I will, and if I do, I want to know why. And so, because like for example, in the like I know that it's the question is going to come up where I work. If we can ever get Cypress as a concept and and we really go down that direction, I'm going to be fighting to get Cypress into its own folder, and I can speak very clearly as to why. And it's going to be, and I'm pretty sure I can make a very, very good argument as to why we need to separate the Cypress into so that it has its own package file that is not shared with the other projects. Um, well, if this is an issue of like, I don't want anyone getting to our API, I would like to know why. I don't know why. Um, even though the core is still vice. Okay. Yeah, there's like I know you doesn't there's like a special carve out for pictures, I think. I think HTTPS works on this, right? Can't really tell. I think if it was HTTP, I would have. Yeah, it's HTTPS. Okay. I was saying that, hey, if you don't. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I'll probably do. Something exactly like this, and I need to set this up. So eventually these things that are coming from that, and then it slides so nicely into the whole signals world. Because every time I get something, I'll just publish the signal. Um, you only need this on the, okay, so cool. So yeah, so that's kind of the future. And the main reason I want to do that is because I want to be able to FTP stuff straight to the the API and not have to do like not have to worry about doing a full blown rebuild. Because alternatively, what I could do is I could put it in this public folder. But the problem is that the thing I fear is that at some point I'll have it in there, and then I'll do a build. I'll go out there, and I will have forgotten to like back up my TypeScript or my JSON, and then I will have lost all that JSON. But, it's just like one of those things that, like if you're really tired, you might just make a mistake. So why not make it to where the like to me it seems like the ideally what I would do is I would go push like I will commit like changes and push it to GitHub and then push the code to I like email. And what would be nice about that is then the code will, or then when I do new builds to say hello, which probably won't, will rarely do a new build to them once this is working, um, it will, there's zero chance that it's going to actually do any damage to the API data. So we're just like slowly separating those two things out. All right, so next time, yeah, we're gonna do this is what we're gonna do. Create an SH data service TS that publishes a list of words that the table will use to print. And then we'll be back to 12 again. Um, and then we'll, I guess this actually turns into create the PHP server and move the rows into that. So .com / words pi / get .php question mark. This should be super simple. Like this is so something that PHP is so optimized for. Um, Alternatively, I think I could just have the PHPs and the Angular could just look, but I think I'd rather do this because at some point I will likely want to keep track of how often different words get asked for, or which different sections get asked for and stuff like that. Um, region equals en and language. Ooh, it's supposed to be equals. US and language. It won't matter the order. Which equals en. And then move the rows to the server. Server to serve JSON. And 14. Update the data service. Angular data service to retrieve from the server. And I will say that, like, I don't know, like, I know all kinds of stuff like this. It's all just buried in my head, um, just from decades of freaking working on this stuff. Um, and I guess that's kind of part of why I do this whole process is so that I can sort of like, I spent 30 years, 40 years, literally 40 years, sort of compiling all this crap into my brain. And then, like, it's all just in there. And then, like, one day, my brain's not going to be functioning anymore. It's going to be done. I need to get this crap out so that, like, somebody in the future might have a chance because it's a mess. The we've created an absolute mess in code right now. And I don't know, like honestly, I don't know how people come up and learn to develop brand new anymore. There's just so many technologies. Um, and like, it's just really hard to just even get anything where you can just focus on one technology, right? Like you, at the very least, you need to be like, when I first started working on computers, like I literally just would start my computer and it was coding. It was ready to code. It was in the IDE. You just started typing the thing, and then you would, I don't remember if you typed in a command or if you pushed a button or whatever, but then it would run at that, it would execute the code. And that is all that computer did. It was a VIC-20. That was literally all it did. And then so much easier. There's so few moving parts. There's not a whole lot you could do, but there was so few moving parts that you could come up to speed pretty quick. Now, like I just getting somebody onto the command line, just getting them onto the command line, not even before you do a single thing, but you get a brand new person that's been bumping around using phones and different computing devices, tablets and stuff like that. And you're like, okay, we need to go to the command line. They're just like, oh my God, it looks just like the Matrix or something. Like it's completely overwhelming to them. And it's because like the technology that they use on a day-to-day basis is 1,000 times higher, is so much higher than in abstractions than the command line, that it's hard to even imagine that that's where it all starts from. But anyways, so yeah, that'll be fun. This is where we're going. I think this project's making really good progress. I like the fact that my phone, it looks like it's going to work on my phone pretty well, so that's going to be cool that I can just show it to people working. I can, like, this will definitely have a list of all the supported language region combos, right? So you'll be able to, like, oh, I want to do Russian Russia, and it'll be a drop down or something, and that's gonna be really nice. And I can do that on my phone. I'll just be like, oh, let's try saying hello, which is really hard in Russian, by the way. But let's try saying hello in Japanese. Let's try saying hello in Korean. Let's try saying hello in all of these different languages and stuff. We could easily do that from the phone, on the phone, and that'll be really fun. But anyways, happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Happy 4th of July. Boy!